There we go.
Here we go! Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. He doesn't say that in the movie.
He doesn't?
No, he doesn't. He does not say it. I was waiting for the line. He did not say it.
I don't know. That movie.
They might have taken it out.
I'm pretty sure they did because that line got like memed to death.
Well, yeah. I think they say they had to like re-record some of his lines.
I don't know.
The original lines were just too powerful.
I think it was just like they knew they got memed on too hard and they were cowards and didn't want to commit.
That's fair.
Based off of no research and pure just gut instinct, that's what happened.
I'd believe it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Read Weens, where we read books.
The only read that you weens.
The only read that you weens. Would you like to glean what we have read this month? We read Saga.
We did. We did read Saga.
We read the Saga of Saga.
We read Saga.
Issues 1 through 60.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, if you were reading this month to month, you would have started 10 years ago.
Jesus, really?
Here, right here, yeah.
Wow.
I think it's 2013 that started, yeah.
To be fair, the bulk of what we read only took 7 years, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they took 3 years off. This is the new stuff.
That's insane.
Yeah, they'd do an issue a month for 6 months.
Yeah.
And they'd take 3 months off. And then come back.
I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could have survived this, issue to issue.
I don't. This would be an excruciating read issue to issue for me. I'd be like, I don't want to read this. Also, there's enough characters that I'd be like,
yeah, I feel
I'm gonna forget what's
the
happening.
passage of time would destroy the amount of character knowledge that you would retain.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna just wait until the when we finished 60, I'm like, I could just read the rest. But I didn't. I'm just like, I'll wait for the next trade.
I guess that makes sense. Just read them in nice big chunks. All right, Thomas, this was your pick.
It was. I had always heard good things about it, and then I finally read it, and now I know.
Now you know. What's the story of Saga?
Well, the story of Saga, it takes place
It's a lot of
in space.
It is very much about that.
And basically, there's like a huge fucking space war that they never really dive into at the point in which we're at. Like, they do a little bit, like, you get the fucking exposition dump at the beginning, but they don't really, take a whole lot of time to actually try and get you, involved in either side of this war.
Not at all.
But basically there are two sides fighting, and it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet story, because there's the winged people and the horned people. I don't remember their canonical species names.
Landfallen and Wreath.
Yes. So Wreath are the winged people, Landfallen are the horned people. And basically, two of them meet, it's like a labor camp sort of a thing. And one of the Wreaths is reading this book, this, campy romance fucking...
This absolutely shitty novel.
Shitty?
Well, it's baked with a bunch of subtext, which is going to stop the war, because it makes her horny and fall in love with a horny guy. But yeah, the two of them end up basically falling in love and escaping from the labor camp together, and the story kind of begins roughly at that point. It starts at the birth of the child that they have together, which is the ultimate wombo combo. It's got wings and horns, and it's an abomination to the universe.
Everything.
Theoretically end the war, because she's not a person, she's an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like me.
Yeah.
No, I'm fading out.
But, yeah, so basically the story is just kind of them on the run, and a bunch of different characters kind of get tangled up into their whole world, and you follow a lot of them. The big ones we follow This guy named Sir Robot the Fourth. He's from like Moon, which is
the Robot Kingdom.
Yeah, they're
Robot Kingdom.
They've all got like monitor heads, and they never really explain why or how.
They just kind of
his dad's got this massive team.
Yeah.
The first time I saw his dad, I was just like, I'm so fucking glad they did this. It's a really good bit.
Yeah, it is. It is. But yeah, basically there's like this assassin guy named the Will that's after them, and he teams up with. He's got like a cat that can tell if people are lying.
Lying cat.
Lying cat, yes. And then he ends up teaming up with the
Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn, who is the land. What's the
Marco.
dad's name? Marco.
Marco's like ex-fiance.
Yeah. But yeah, basically it's just kind of like this weird, almost like it kind of gives me like Bonnie and Clyde or like Natural Born Killer, like that kind of like, oh, we're
on the run from the law.
Yeah, fuck this.
But we're in love. And we're gonna fuck each other too.
Yeah, but it's also like this huge dysfunctional family that ends up adopting just a bunch of misplaced people throughout the universe as they kind of go along, and sometimes
until they explode.
Yeah, sometimes they die, sometimes they leave. Things happen. A lot of things happen. So
a lot of spoilers coming. There's always spoilers in these videos, but people care more about spoilers to Saga than I've seen in like anything else in a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I guess I could kind of see it, but
I guess.
Yeah, before we dive deeper in, what were your guys' general thoughts? You like it, dislike it, somewhere in the middle?
I was very medium on it until I was very not medium and really liked it. Because for like a decent part, I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is fun. And then as I kind of like sat and thought more about it, I'm like, wait, no, like Prince Robot's like really fucking good. And talk with London a little bit about it. I'm like, no, I kind of like all the characters, like dysfunctional family on the run, having crazy, wacky hijinks, just trying to fight and save another day. Mm-hmm. I like a lot of the setting. I like a lot of the creatures, the world building. I think that's really fun. There are elements that I wish we knew more about, namely like the war. But I guess also like I'm kind of fine with it not being explained.
Yeah, it seems like a lot hinges on the war for how little information they give us, and I would kind of be okay with that if it was doing like the One Piece thing where it's kind of like a puzzle box that you unlock as you go along. But it hasn't really felt like I've gleaned any sort of information as it's gone along, aside from like, I guess a couple of things. Like, I don't know, it seems like everyone's just hostile towards each other and banking on the war, but
I do have issues with Saga. I think that's one of the things I like about Saga is it feels like the war has been going on for so long that no one in this generation or the last generation or even the previous generation knows what they're really fighting for, and they're just kind of fighting. Like it's always been a thing and it always will be a thing.
Wasn't a point that like Robot Kingdom was basically is proxy war for Robot Kingdom?
Like Robot Kingdom was, it's even said like it's been hundreds of years since Robot Kingdom betrayed, I think, Wreath and went to landfall. Like it's like the war's been going on for so long that no one even remembers anything at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's also heavily implied that the top brass on both sides are just causing the war to continue to go on just for money or power or control.
Usually
one of those three. Yeah. Always one of those three. Mm-hmm. Overall, I really liked this in general. Mm-hmm. I think the first like 10, 12 issues, those first two trades in here, they're really struggling to do a lot of their world building. I think it's really rocky.
It's a rough
start. I think they do get it rolling, and in general, I really like where they go with it. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the world building is cool. I think some of it is a little too much like, lol, so random kind of thing.
It got that like common like 2000s, 90s like comic book snark to it.
Some of the dialogue's pretty cringy. Some of it's really good, though. I really like the characters like work in the book. Like, and I really like the art. I think the art looks great. Not as big of a fan as what they're doing here, because it really feels to me in those 2.5 years that they completely lost their momentum. And it feels like they're struggling to regain it. So it kind of just feels like the beginning, but with characters I care about significantly less. Like all the characters introduced in Volume 10, don't care about at all.
Yeah.
I liked it still, but significantly less than I liked the compendium.
The portion that we read, it's definitely, including the portion that I read, because I read a little bit further than you guys, because I caught up. It's really just kind of like setting pieces up, so it's really kind of hard to tell like how it's all going to kind of come together.
That's annoying, because like there was pretty decent like momentum and trajectory with how things were like gonna like go, and to hear that's kind of sad.
I mean,
I think they'll regain it. It's just more like their writing experience. It feels like they forgot where they were going with it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that, or maybe they just accumulated a little rust. Who knows?
Yeah, which is fine, you know. So, but it does make Volume 10 kind of suffer. So
yeah.
We'll see how I feel about Volume 11 and 12. But
yeah, Volume 10, like the characters were fine, but I feel like they entered and were like, this is the new gang, like immediately, and just like, oh, well, okay, but I guess that's kind of par for the course for Saga. That happens a lot. Like people that kind of like enter and exit the story pretty frequently.
Yeah. I liked it. I didn't love it. I feel like it's doing a lot of things right, and in theory, I should like it. Like, I like a lot of the themes. I like the creativity. It reminds me of, like, early space, like, sci-fi, where it's like, oh, we're gonna, like, sail the stars in an actual ship, except it's not like an actual ship. It's
like
a tree.
The tree root ship is awesome.
Yeah.
I like the baby thing that's born out of, like, stars. I'm like, that's sick.
The time suck.
The time suck.
That is one thing I will say, though, is, like, I really like all these concepts, but then, like, currently at the point where we left off, it doesn't really feel like much was done. I mean, obviously the tree gets destroyed.
The tree gets destroyed. The time suck comes back into it for a bit.
But like, I don't know. I feel like I want to be attached to the tree as like a character, like the Mary or the TARDIS or something, but it doesn't quite have the groundwork in establishing it as its own character.
It's very much just like a device for the characters to use rather than like a part of.
It's a cool device, but they want you to think of it as like a part of the family. I mean, you don't really.
Yeah, they don't really like properly like.
There's not a lot of time spent in the ship, like doing ship stuff. It's kind of like everybody's in the ship and using it as like transportation. There isn't just like, we're gonna clean the ship and we're gonna like take care of the ship, like maintenance stuff, like interact with it. It's just kind of like a thing that's used, which is fine, but like. I think the ship is really cool.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. I think the ship is really cool, and I would have loved to have seen more from it. But given the chapter that we left off on, I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not. Probably not.
And I like the direction that they were kind of going for in that last issue, where it's like, you know, she really hadn't, because there's that line where she's like, I haven't like really felt like the impact of my father's death or whatever. And then like the second she sees the ship is in flames, and then she's like, gets her. Yeah. So it's like, obviously that's probably gonna play like a decent role, maybe? I don't know, hard to tell. But yeah, I don't know. I like a lot of the themes in it too, but like, I don't know. I feel like they haven't like dived super deep into them enough. Like, I'm glad that they're tackling these themes, and they're themes that I think that like more modern media should be doing, but like, I feel like they don't dig in deep enough. Like, I feel like it keeps like touching an idea and like kind of like dipping its fingers into the surface and then moving on to a different idea, or like kind of chasing it. And maybe by the time like the actual comic ends, it'll come together in a way where it's like, oh, I didn't see it coming together.
But right now there are so many things that just feel underutilized.
Yes. So I could potentially like be head over heels for this story one day, depending on like how it all kind of comes together. But currently,
Well, we got
I still really like it. But yeah, it's I haven't felt.
we got 40 issues to go.
Oh, they have like a hard number.
That compendium, when they took their break, that was supposed to be the halfway point.
Oh, okay.
So that was the original plan. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing 108.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Very.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see where they go. I don't know. It's gonna be very weird to continue this story without Marco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons that I think Volume 10 suffers. Not because I don't think it's a terrible idea to kill off one of your big characters, but like he's arguably the best character.
Yeah, and
like writing-wise especially.
And I felt like they hadn't quite milked him for all he was worth.
No.
And that's what I'm actually okay with, like, characters not being able to finish their own journeys.
Yeah.
I think that's, like, a sadder idea, but, you know,
I need something
like, what do they replace that with? The koala guy?
Yeah,
I don't give a shit about koala guy.
I think I just need something else to, like, work off of.
Well,
like,
then he left, so.
Yeah.
Well, I assume koala guy's coming
I'll
back.
probably be back.
Because they, like, heavily imply koala guy is coming.
It seems like he's coming back now. Whether he's coming back in a friendly capacity or
like,
not, still open.
what's his name? Like, Bombozinin or something like that?
Something like that.
But yeah, they kill off Prince Robot the Fourth, and they kill off...
They kill off Marco. They just kill
Which I think Prince Robot the Fourth had a good, like, was a good spot to... I'm actually fine with him killing off Marco there, too. It's just, in Volume 10, they just don't do anything with either of these deaths. They jump ahead so far that it's like, it doesn't even really matter now. The kid's fine, and the robot kid just kind of doesn't talk anymore.
Yeah, that part kind of threw me for a loop, because I'm just like, we're just gonna breeze past this. I mean,
they've been doing time skips throughout every single
it just feels like a weird point to time skip. Like, I guess it's weird in, like, a normal sense, probably not weird in a Saga sense, because I feel like that's something that they have kind of done. Like, big thing happens, then we immediately jump forward to see, like, the ramifications and, like, how this has affected everything.
I'd be interested to see if they do put in some, like, flashbacks, because they have done flashbacks throughout, like, to when Marco and, Alana, thank you, met.
Yeah, but... Yeah, I think my knee-jerk reaction when they flashed forward or did the time skip after Marco died was kind of like a obvious, like, oh man, this seems weird, but I feel like it could be okay. It's hard to tell at this current point, but like...
I feel like it's something that will, like, the pieces are going to be filled in.
Because, I mean, especially considering that they, like, did lay the groundwork where she's like, alright, I'm not really feeling the kickback or the full effect of this yet. And then we get to that point at the end of our reading duration. And it does, I mean, without getting into, like, complete spoilers, they do continue down that route, although it might not be in the traditional way that you guys would necessarily want, but you might like it. I don't know. And I can't tell yet because we're still right in the middle of that arc in the current issue, so it's like, nah. But, yeah.
I really liked Alana and Marco's relationship.
Yeah.
I thought it was really solid. I like that they're kind of dynamic. I like Marco's story arc. I like that he started off his story not wanting to kill people because he's done with violence, and like right before he died, he was talking to a reporter. He's like, "Yeah, I only was able to find you because you didn't kill someone that you probably should have killed. Like if you did that, we would have had no dead ends. Or like you probably would have gotten off scot-free." And then the panel before he dies, he couldn't kill the Will because that's just not who he was. I like that through line. I like Alana kind of just being just super cool.
Through line. Because the Will used his lance to
go through him. Yeah.
Very nice.
I like Alana's story a lot. I think she's a very well-written character, does a lot of cool things. I liked her stint where she was like a wrestler on drugs for a while. That was a lot of fun. Fade away. I like seeing those two interact. I think they were a very like good relationship for each other. They were obviously probably not the best people, but like they were there for each other and they helped each other a lot and were good for each other at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm really interested to see the direction her character takes now that, like, you know, her loved one is, like, absent from her life.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of going down, like, the common trajectory you would expect for that kind of an arc so far, but, like, I'm interested to see what they do with it as it goes along. But did you guys get to the part where you meet the wolf again?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like right at the beginning of.
Oh, okay.
10.
I couldn't quite remember.
Because she's the one that performs the wing
remover.
Because I do really like that symbology of like her having to lose the wings.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see if they do anything more with that, like the loss of like self kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, I'm interested to see how because the daughter can fly at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, she flies in Volume 10 to escape from the...
So I'm
bad guys.
interested to see like if they do anything with that in the next coming issues, where now that the ship is gone, maybe she loses like that spark of like comfortability or whatever she had that let her fly. Because the mom does have that line where she's like, the only reason I was able to fly in the first place is because like I was in love with Marco. So it's like... So I mean, I'm really interested to see how that all pans out. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let's, I guess, dive into some of like the more side characters. I guess the biggest one is like the Will
I hate
in
him.
terms of like the beat. Yeah,
I really am not a fan of that storyline. There are the beginning of it, I'm into it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, same.
he saves the girl, what is her name?
Sophie.
Yeah.
I'm into it, and then it just feels like they don't know what to do with him. And I'm like, you should have just killed him.
I think I was fine with him up until they, like, dragged him back into the story. Because I kind of liked his story arc of, like, he was, like, doing really good, and then he just fucking just is miserable and sad and pathetic. I thought that was pretty good. I like that a lot. I don't know. I like seeing pathetic characters just, like, suffer. Especially people like the Will, who's like, he's just a bounty hunter. Like, he's killed a lot of people. I think that's pretty funny. And then, like, when they brought him back, I'm just like, I don't know if I like him this much. I feel like he was basically only brought back to kill Marco. I'm curious to see what they do more with him. But I think I agree with Lana. I liked him at the beginning. I liked what he was doing, and then I feel like he's overstayed his welcome.
Yeah, I'd say, I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan of his negative character arc. Like where, like, his sister dies and then he, like, intentionally, like, gets hooked on eating the brain amoeba meat, which felt like an episode of Star Trek, which I kind of liked the twist on that at first, but then...
It got old after a while.
Yeah, it was like, alright, I'm tired of, like, seeing this so often. Like, you could have probably shown me, like, done a lot of this off screen, and it would have been equally as effective if you had just maybe, like, shown him, like, going to the reporters, and then suddenly, like, he's in the location. Like, you could have... That's one thing I will say. I wish that they held their cards closer to their chest, because sometimes they'll set up the piece and it's so obvious to where it's going.
And it's like, don't worry, 30 issues from now, you know exactly how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And also, like, I'm gonna compare it to One Piece here. I know I do that, like, with everything, but...
Oh, One Piece fan!
I know. But, like, specifically with the parts where it, like, gives, like, indications of, like, what's gonna happen in the future, I feel like One Piece does a much better job at that, because it'll be really vague with what's gonna happen, where it's like...
Where it's just like a diary entry from the daughter, like, and then they all exploded, and then 5 issues later, they all explode.
Like, I don't feel any tension when,
We didn't stay.
Hold on.
We didn't stay too long in this place. Like, well, we're either going to be here for a while or we're not going to be here very long.
Did you guys see the grandma again at the point in which we read?
He visited the grandma, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, I know that I didn't have any tension there because I knew the wing guy wasn't going to kill the grandma, because there's that one line where she says that, like, her and the grandma return back to the fucking mom's homeworld.
Well, what if that just means she's carrying her skull?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's like...
I think the best one was probably when she was just like, you know, we were pretty happy here until it became the worst place ever or something like that.
Yeah.
With the planet that hit the time suck.
Yeah, that or like I thought the one where it's like, oh, this is how my mom and dad split up. I thought the way they subverted that one.
This is how they got back to. Yeah, that was.
I thought that was pretty good. Like there were points where like Hazel's, we're being told the story through Hazel's perspective. She's the child between those two. Like there were definitely points where I'm like, especially that like, oh, they split them. Like, oh, what's gonna happen? Then no, like they just had to like run away.
Yeah,
and Marco was left to like track them down. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. But then they also include the spoiler of, I wouldn't see my dad again for many years. And it's like, God damn it. And then you're waiting for the shoe to drop and you expect it to be this big thing, but then it turns out to not really be a big thing. It just a time skip happens or something and it's real nonchalant. And it's like, well, see, that's the thing. Like, I like this story. I like its characters, but I feel like its plot beats haven't really punched yet. Like, it's just, it feels like the plot is meandering. Mm-hmm. And I like a lot of the characters and stuff, and I like the world, but, like...
Feels like things are just happening a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. Which I was talking with a friend of the show and channel, Pierre. That's right, I'm talking to you right now, Pierre. You need to put your shoes away. Anyway, yeah, like, just things are just happening all the time. Like, they're cool things, they're interesting characters involved, but, like, there's no real impact, there's no real, like, tension a lot of the time. It's just stuff happening, very little time is set to, like, set things up, or, like, in the moment, live with them. It's just, like, thing happen, move on. Like, thing happen, move on. And, like, that's cool. I think I get what they're going for with, like, them being on the run. Like, things always constantly changing. Like, I get that, but also, like, I want to, like, Prince Robot just, like, dies, and then Marco dies right after, and then we're on to the next thing. It's just, like...
Yeah, and that one, at the very least, they could go back to that.
Yeah, that one they can, like, fill in the gaps, but even, like... Those are big examples, but there's a lot of other, like, smaller examples, like, throughout the entire show, like, characters that mean a lot to each of the like, our main cast, like, just, like, die or leave or whatever.
The little mole guy!
I love Goose. Goose is
the
great.
little mole guy they meet on I think they're moles. The first kiss of Hazel, who's like, please, I believe in God!
Oh, yeah.
I think that was actually the part that I was like, what the fuck?
That might have been, like, probably the most effective, because, like, comparing that to, like, her ghost babysitter who died.
Man, I liked Isabel a lot. I miss her.
I never really felt strongly because I felt like they didn't do much with her character.
I liked the idea. There are a couple really good scenes with her, but in general, I would agree.
I think it kind of falls into the issue that a lot of it happens where, like, these are cool things and cool people. Let's do stuff with them.
It's just the thing where they have so many characters and they have so many plot beats they want to hit. It doesn't really feel like they're giving enough time to any of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I liked Saga quite a bit, but...
Yeah, so did I.
It's still, like...
Like, I'm probably going to go out and buy, like, the trade paperbacks, because I did like it, and I'll probably read it with the trades from this point on.
Hey, I'll probably, like, read the volumes as they come out, probably. But I think I want to know how things conclude at this point, but, like...
Wait 5 years.
Yeah. It just... Holy shit. Do the people that, like, are reading...
I don't know. I'm going to ask my coworker, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You just, like, try to forget about it?
That's insane. Like, the amount that, like, things just kind of, like, meander and go off and do their own thing, like, that amount of time between issues is crazy to me. That's wild.
Yeah. No, it does seem like
reading Berserk. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true.
That's very true. That's very true.
As someone who read Berserk monthly for many years. Yeah, monthly for many years. I mean, I don't know. I felt like I usually did a pretty good job of keeping track, but, like, it was a pretty, like, simple and straightforward point in the story where I had been reading for a long time. So it's like, I don't know. But, like, I don't know. If One Piece took, like, 10 months off or 3 months off in between, like, every, like, few issues, I'd probably, like,
I don't.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna come back to this later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to forget about it for a while and like revisit it later on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I do a pretty good job at retaining One Piece, but then I have to do arc rereads when it completes, because then it's like, oh shit, I completely forgot about this.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. But
yeah, I still think I liked Saga. I think it has kind of like opened my eyes to like comics, at least like modern graphic novels.
Yeah, I think this is a good start to like modern comics. Too.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff in here that I really like. I like a lot of the themes. I think the war theme, as much as I wish they went into more detail with it, I think I'm kind of all right with it just being like this looming rain cloud type of thing that everyone's just kind of like dealing with it constantly. And like, I feel like if you had to ask anyone in the universe, like, why, like, what's going on with the war, you either get, like, just anger or confusion thrown back at you. And I think that's a good thing thematically. I think that works. Because, like, why would I explain the war to you? It's the war. Obviously. Duh. Like, get on with it. And I like that. I just wish we had more meat on the bones. But again, I get that why we don't have that. Because it's been going on for so long.
Yeah, and it's like, if you want the amount of, like, things I would want to be expanded upon, like character moments and stuff, I'd be like, cool, instead of 60 issues, it's 100.
Yeah, like, I think that there is definitely, like, a balance to be achieved there, but I understand, like, the need for brevity. And I think, like, with having the story be so, like, on the shoulders of, like, Marco and Alana and Prince Robot and Hazel, like, they're able to do a bulk of the, like, kind of interacting and, like, deduction for like why these things are happening just by good character writing and just having them explore the world alongside you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes from here. I liked it. I liked the new stuff less, but I still liked it. And I'll probably read it trades as they come out, but it wasn't like groundbreaking to me, but like
No. But
I was pleasantly surprised, because this is another one that I'm like, oh, I'd heard great things about this. Can't wait to read it. But like the last time that happened, Invincible. I didn't care for that one, and I liked this significantly more than what we read of Invincible, and then what I read after that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Was that the last thing we read?
that was the last thing we read.
I didn't mention. I read the rest of Invincible.
Oh, yeah, we just
Sucks.
We just skipped over what we read.
Boo!
Yeah, I didn't read anything besides Saga between Invincible and now.
Yeah.
Well, I read like a bunch.
Yeah.
I've been reading a lot. In a reading mood. I read the whole Bible. That's not true. Just thinking about it.
Well, if you read the Bible, then I'm going to read the Quran.
Do it. Do we have anything else to say?
Yeah.
Goose, yeah. Goose is sick. I love
Goose is the
you
best.
like Goose? I know you don't usually care for...
I like Goose. I thought he was good.
He's
I
got a little
imagine him
axe.
with a nice
He's got-
Scottish accent the whole time.
He's got Friendo.
Frendo's great.
Yeah. I think that this is a good representation of like what comics can be beyond just like the superhero medium.
Yeah.
It's still got like superhero-y aspects to it because it's like space opera, but like it doesn't feel quite as grandiose so far, or so as like, oh god. There are high stakes because like everyone's like, oh my god, this girl is an idea who could like end the whole war and the whole like system in which the galaxy lives in. But like, I don't know. I feel like most people would just look at that and be like,
This is Star Wars, but worse.
I don't know. I don't know what to compare it to because it's like, oh, I feel like most people would just look at it and be like, oh, what a fucking freak. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I don't think they've really hammered in that point enough or like explained why. Like, I get it. It's a symbol of hope and representation, but like,
There's nothing concrete that would happen.
I don't believe that most of the characters we've met would be that affected by this.
I mean, most
And
of the
even,
characters
like,
we've met who find out are not.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Even like the seeds, like I get that they would eventually lead to change, but
Yeah.
I don't know, I think the thing that they're going for is like if the common folk figured that out, or like the soldiers figured out, like no, like we don't need to hate each other, we can love each
have
other.
Sex.
Then like the powers that be kind of get undermined, I think is what they're going for. But yeah, like everyone that we've seen that is supposed to be like a major player in it has been like, kill them. Like that, and that's just kind of like it. No reason for like why they want to kill them apart from like, oh, they're gonna unite everybody. I guess, but they never like explicitly say that. It's just kind of like left for you to pick up, which I'm fine with. But like,
and I mean, obviously, we're seemingly heading for an even bigger like death exodus of like all the characters we've come to know along the way, since
probably
Batwing guy is being sent out to murk all of the witnesses to her existence.
Yeah.
Which he's not doing a very good job of so far. But.
No, he really isn't.
Yeah, it's kind of lame.
I kind of liked his reintroduction where he's just like
getting choked.
He's getting choked. He's like fucking strung up, and like the special agent like chokes him to like intimidate him, and he just like starts coming.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
No, there's some good moments of humor in it. I think my favorite panel so far, and I was telling London about this, is there's this character called Yuma who like introduces Alana to drugs, and Alana has like a drug episode, and she's like, I'm gonna save the ship, but I'm gonna go out the way I was living, high as fuck, and I'm like, this is good. This is a good character.
I did not like her character.
I thought she was fine. She didn't overstay her welcome.
Green lady?
Little green
I
lady
liked her
giving people
design
drugs?
and stuff. But
Giving people
like,
drugs?
I think I was just low-key kind of mad at her character.
Why?
It's good.
Because I mean...
Why?
I don't know. I just want to hear Thomas's opinion on it.
I mean, as pro-drugs as I am, and I believe in people's, like, freedom to do what they want, I also realize that, like, a lot of drug dealers, even though they're not in great positions themselves, do push drugs onto people.
Oh, no, 100%. I thought that part made her really funny.
But I do like that she does try to take accountability and step up.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But yeah.
I'm just like, creepy green lady, here you want this chocolate bar? It's drugs.
But yeah, I don't know. I something about how one-dimensional, and that the fact that her character was entirely drugged.
Oh, yeah. No, as soon as
It's like she's made of drugs.
Yes, no, like literally. It's just like...
You couldn't have made the metaphor better. She's literally made of green plant. Like, I thought
like the evil bong.
No, she was just funny. I just like that panel because it looked funny.
Green wicked weed.
Is that a quote from Evil? I haven't.
That's the song.
I haven't watched it in like probably like
3
8 years. It's been a long time.
Oh, for the first one?
Oh, I guess I would have rewatched the first one probably when I watched.
But also, that song's in every single one. It's the best part.
I watched those movies one weekend, like
1.5 times speed.
1.5 speed.
You know what I did? I watched them at regular speed. Because I hate my...
Well, I hope you retained them better than I did, and they live with you for a long time.
Probably didn't. They're probably gone.
Those Evil Bong movies blend together.
I feel like isn't it like the same movie just repeated over and over again, literally every time? Like
Pretty
that's not
much.
like people joke like, oh, it's like, oh, they're just redoing the same thing. No, they're literally using the same clips.
No, not that, but...
Not quite that bad, although Full Moon is known for that practice.
Wasn't like Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong literally a clip show of both movies?
No.
No.
I thought it was.
No, it's a new movie that's
Okay.
a crossover that merges the two cinematic universes together.
Yeah, but Saga's pretty good. I'd recommend
Saga's pretty
it.
good, yeah.
Saga is pretty good.
Also, the best character is
It's no
Prince Robot.
Sleepwalker.
It's no Sleepwalker. I don't know, there's Prince Robot in this. I like Prince Robot a lot.
Imagine if Sleepwalker came out of Prince Robot's head.
That'd be crazy.
It'd be like TerrorVision, almost, kind of.
Yes.
I'm glad that they don't
Not
ever explain
TerrorVision.
the robot people.
Video drama.
Video, yeah, that's what I was
I'm glad
thinking.
that they never explain them. They're just like, yeah, these guys just like exist. They're freaks.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hope they explain
No,
that,
I hope they never
along
do.
with a lot of other stuff in
I
like
hope
the
they
last
don't.
leg of the story, but
I hope they never do.
I mean, I don't care if they explain their like biology or whatever, but just like more about like them as a culture.
I just figured they were just British.
I mean, yeah,
And then that's
More
their
or
culture.
less.
They're just British.
yeah,
They're just the British Empire.
kinda. Not quite as powerful.
Not quite as powerful. All right. Anything else we want to add?
Saga, more like a gas.
Thomas told me that earlier, and I went, oh, ain't that a knee slapper?
That's a nice.
All right, everyone. We're reading more comics.
We're reading more comics.
Oh.
What are we reading next time, London?
We're reading Animal Man.
Animal Man.
We're going to read the Grant Morrison run of Animal Man, which I think I take off my dust covers, even though I'm in comics, because I hate dust covers. I think it's first 26 issues.
First 26 issues of
the Grant Morrison run.
Okay.
I read the first book, the first deluxe hardcover when it came out, and I was like, this is so fucking sick. It's
like
so
guy.
good.
Monkey on a typewriter.
To the point that, like, this is probably, like, my favorite book comic book that I own currently. I'm excited. I still haven't read book 2, but I'm very excited to see where it goes. After this, the series continued on. I think it went up to, like, issue, 70, but it wasn't Grant Morrison. I've heard they're significantly worse after that. But yeah, first 26 issues of that. Easy peasy, small things we're reading.
Cool.
Yeah, read Weens.
Probably gonna read it like the day.
Yeah, I know. Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Woo! To be fair, I didn't read this the day before. Well, the last issues that I didn't have to read today I did, but